Conversations with my son, last part. One time I did not see Mama for a long while, Vladimir began. I wondered where she was and decided Mama must have gone to the neighboring glade, the one next to ours. It is similar to ours, but it's not as nice there. I walked over to the neighboring glade. There I saw Mama. She was lying on the ground without moving, and all was white, and the grass around her was all white too. At first I stood there wondering why this had happened. Mama's face and the grass around should not be all white like that. Then I decided to touch Mama. She managed to open her eyes, only just, but she did not stir. Then I took her by the hand and began to drag her out of the white circle. She helped me with her other hand, and we got ourselves out of the white circle. When Mama got back to her normal self, she told me never to touch her if this should happen again. She said she herself could cope with it, but that I could not. After being in the white circle and dragging Mama out, my arm and leg grew numb and are taking a long time to recover. Mama gets better very quickly, but my arm and leg have still not fully recovered. When I saw Mama once again in the same circle, when I saw her lying there all white, I was not going to touch her myself. I cried out. I called the strong she-bear to help, the one I slept on when I was little. I told the bear to drag Mama out of the circle. The bear stepped onto the white part of the grass, fell down, and now she is no more. Only her children remain. The bear died at once, and as soon as she stepped onto the white grass. Everything dies on the white grass. Then once again I entered the white circle and began to drag Mama Anastasia out. The two of us pulled ourselves away from the dead grass. This time my arm and my leg did not grow numb as before, only my whole body was trembling a little bit. Now it does not tremble anymore. You see, Papa, my body does not tremble. It obeys me. And I shall soon be able to raise my arm when I want to. I can already lift it a little. Before I could not raise it at all. I listened to my son's story in astonishment. I remembered how once I had seen Anastasia in a similar situation. I too had instinctively tried to pull her out of the white circle. I remembered the elderly philosopher, Nikolai Fyodorovich, talking about it. But why does she put herself in that kind of danger, even risking her own son? Can it be so important to her, burning within her some sort of invisible energy directed at her? A number of times on TV there have been reports of unusual circles with perfect geometrical shapes. They have appeared in various countries, usually in grain fields. Right in the middle of ordinary grain crops, people have discovered circles with stalks trampled to the ground. Not just trampled at random, but with stalks pointing in the same direction and forming perfect geometric circles and figures. Scientists are studying these mysterious phenomena, but so far haven't been able to come with any explanation for them. In Anastasia's case, the grass has also been trampled down in a circle, but in contrast to what's been shown on TV, the grass here has gone all white besides, as though it hasn't gotten enough sunlight. Anastasia says that this is human-generated negative energy. Maybe it is, but why has it been focused so strongly on Anastasia? What kind of people are aiming it at her? Forgetting myself, I said out loud, "Why does she struggle with it? Whom does the struggle benefit? Who is made better by it?" "Everybody benefits a little," I heard my son's voice say. "Mama says that if the energy of evil lessens, if she is able to reduce it by burning it up inside her so that it is not reflected back into space, that there will be less of it, and those who produce it will mellow out somewhat themselves." Show me, how many of these white circles are there, and where are they? Next to our glade there is a very small glade. The white circles are always appearing there. Afterward the grass becomes green again, but it has not yet greened over completely, and you can still see the circles. If you wish, come with me and I can show them to you, Papa. Let's go. I rose quickly to my feet and took my son's hand. The child trotted along on his little legs, though I noticed that he was limping slightly, so I endeavored to walk a little more slowly. From time to time, Vladimir tried to look me in the eyes. He chatted away the whole time, telling me about something as we walked, but all I could think about were the strange white circles and Anastasia's inexplicable behavior and the reasoning behind her actions about this whole unusual phenomenon. To somehow keep the conversation going with my son, I asked him, "Vladimir, why do you sometimes call her Mama and sometimes Mama Anastasia?" "I know a lot of mamas who lived earlier on the earth. Mama Anastasia told me about them. I can call them grandmothers or great-grandmothers, but I can also call them mamas. My grandmothers gave birth to Mama. I can also call them mamas. When I hear them being talked about, I can feel them, and I can see them, and I can picture them. And sometimes I picture them all on my own. But so as to not get confused, I sometimes call my mama Mama Anastasia. All mamas are good, but for me, Mama Anastasia is the closest and the best, and she is more beautiful than the flowers and the clouds. She's very interesting and cheerful. I hope that she is forever. As soon as I chase my thought up to speed, I shall always be able to bring her back." I wasn't listening carefully enough to grasp what he was trying to say. By the time we had arrived at the other little glade, I saw 4 whitish circles on the grass. The circles were about 5 or 6 meters in diameter. They were barely noticeable, but one of them was whiter than the rest. It had probably been made quite recently. Now I realized why Anastasia had not come to meet me, and why she wasn't with me at the moment. It meant that she was lying helpless somewhere, and she didn't want us to take pity on her or become upset by her appearance. I looked at the white circles and my thoughts kept racing and intertwining. Of course, a lot of people can turn pale from troubles which befall them unexpectedly. Almost all people turn pale when anger is unexpectedly directed at them. But here, can it be possible to feel it just like that, at such a great distance away? Can such a huge amount of hateful human energy be concentrated into a single stream? So huge that not only man, but all growth around him turns pale? Apparently so. There they are, the traces of the most wicked attempts. No. The traces of the most wicked attempts, and at once I remembered her words, which I cited in the 4th book. "All anger on earth, leave your deeds, and make haste to me. Join fray with me, try your utmost. I stand alone before you. Try to defeat me. To defeat me, all of you must come meet me together. The fight will be fightless." I thought these were just words, but everything she says comes true. The books, just like she said, and the bard's songs and the poems. She's not just whistling in the wind. But why did she say the fight will be fightless? The upshot is that she tries to simply burn up the anger inside of her, and she tries to do this alone. As far as I'm concerned, I think one should fight them out and out, smash their rotten mugs in, but she's all alone. "No, you shall not be alone, Anastasia. I can try at least. I can at least take a little of this filth upon myself, and I shall fight it. Oh, if only I could speak the way she does. I'd tell them." I probably got a little too carried away and blurted out, "Hey, you malice mongers! Come on, try and get me, and I'll burn at least a few of you." Little Vladimir all at once let go of my hand and ran ahead and looked me intently in the eye with amazement. Then he stamped his little foot and, grasping hold of his injured arm with his healthy one, he raised both arms above his head and cried out, imitating my tone of voice, "Hey, come and try and get me too, you malice mongers. You see, my arm is getting better. Mama Anastasia is not alone. I am here too, and my thought will be racing faster and faster. Hurry and come on, you malice mongers. Leave what you are doing and hurry over to me. Look at how I'm growing." He got up on his tiptoes in an attempt to raise his arms even higher. "So, my fine warriors, my dashing young braves, who are you about to make war on today, my gallant knights?" came Anastasia's quiet voice. I turned around and caught sight of Anastasia sitting under a cedar tree. She was evidently very tired. Her head was even resting against the tree trunk, and her shoulders and her arms were sinking, and her hands were resting on the ground. Her face was pale, and her eyelids slightly lowered. Papa and I were standing up against malice, Mama, Vladimir responded on my behalf. But to fight against malice, you have to know where to find it and what form it takes. It is essential to know everything about your enemy, Anastasia said quietly and with difficulty. Mamoshka, you rest here while Papa and I try to do that. If we do not do it properly, you can tell us later. Papa has had a long journey, little one. He should have a rest first. I've had rest, Anastasia. In any case, I'm not all that tired. Hello there, Anastasia. How are you? For some reason, I was overwhelmed by the sight of her helplessness and couldn't move. I started talking disconnectedly, not knowing what to do, or what to say or do next. Vladimir came over to me, took me by the hand, and went on talking to his mother. I shall give Papa some refreshment after his journey and bathe with him in the pure water of the lake, and I shall collect some cleansing herbs. You, Mamoshka, rest here in the meantime. Do not waste your energies on conversation. I shall take care of everything myself. Then Papa and I shall come to you. I want you to recuperate your strength as quickly as possible. I shall go bathing with you too, Anastasia declared. Wait, and I shall go with you. Supporting herself with her hands against the cedar trunk, Anastasia tried to get up. She managed to raise herself a little, but again sank back down to the ground, her hands slipping against the trunk. Her whisper was barely audible. Oh, how could I have failed so badly? I am unable even to rise and greet my son and my love. Once more leaning against the cedar trunk, she began the challenging task of raising herself off the ground. Oh my God, how much longer is this? I'm hungry. She probably would not have made it this time either, but all at once something incredible happened. The huge cedar tree Anastasia was leaning against suddenly began to extend the needles of its lower branches out toward her. The needles began emitting a barely noticeable pale bluish glow. Suddenly, almost imperceptibly, the glow enveloped Anastasia. Then I heard a cracking sound coming from above, not unlike the kind one hears when standing under a high-voltage transmission line.
Can I go inside, Mom?
Yeah, you can.
Going inside.
It's starting to rain. I'm gonna finish this later.